Exodus. These are the names of Israel's sons who traveled to Egypt with their father Jacob. Each man brought his own family. Their names were Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Benjamin, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. In total, 75 members of Jacob's family moved to Egypt. Over time, Joseph, his brothers, and everyone from that generation passed away. But the Israelites had many children. They became strong and filled the land. Then a new king came to power in Egypt who didn't know anything about Joseph. He told his people, "The Israelites are growing too fast and becoming too powerful. If we don't act, they'll keep increasing. And if a war starts, they might join our enemies, fight against us, and leave the country." So the Egyptians made the Israelites their slaves. They forced them to build cities for storing supplies, like Pithom and Ramses. But even though they were treated badly, the Israelites continued to grow in number. This made the Egyptians even more afraid. They forced the Israelites to work even harder, making bricks, mixing mortar, and doing all kinds of difficult labor in the fields. Life was harsh. Later, the king of Egypt gave an order to two Hebrew midwives, Shiphrah and Puah. He said, "When you help the Hebrew women give birth, if it's a boy, kill him. If it's a girl, let her live." But the midwives respected God, so they didn't follow the king's command. They let the boys live. Pharaoh called them and asked, "Why did you let the boys survive?" They replied, "Hebrew women are not like Egyptian women. They give birth so quickly that we arrive too late." Because the midwives feared God, he blessed them with families of their own. The Israelites continued to grow and became even stronger. Then Pharaoh ordered all his people, "Throw every Hebrew baby boy into the river, but let the girls live." A man from the tribe of Levi married a woman from the same tribe. She had a baby boy. When she saw how special he was, she hid him for 3 months. But when she couldn't hide him anymore, she made a basket from reeds and covered it with tar to keep it watertight. She put the baby in it and placed the basket among the reeds by the riverbank. His sister stayed nearby to watch and see what would happen. Pharaoh's daughter came to the river to bathe. Her servants were walking along the edge of the water when she noticed the basket. She sent one of her maids to get it. When she opened it and saw the crying baby, she felt sorry for him. She said, "This must be one of the Hebrew babies." Then the baby's sister stepped forward and asked, "Would you like me to find a Hebrew woman to nurse the baby for you?" "Yes, go," Pharaoh's daughter replied. So the girl went and got the baby's mother. Pharaoh's daughter told her, "Take this child and nurse him for me. I'll pay you." The woman took care of her own son. When the boy was old enough, she brought him to Pharaoh's daughter, who adopted him as her own. She named him Moses, saying, "I pulled him out of the water." When Moses grew up, he went out to visit his people and saw how they were being mistreated. He saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew. Moses looked around to make sure no one was watching, then killed the Egyptian and hid his body in the sand. The next day, he saw 2 Hebrews fighting. He said to the one who started the fight, "Why are you hitting someone from your own people?" The man replied, "Who made you our leader and judge? Are you going to kill me like you killed that Egyptian?" Moses was afraid. "Now everyone knows what I did," he thought. When Pharaoh found out, he tried to have Moses killed. But Moses escaped and ran to the land of Midian, where he sat down beside a well. The priest of Midian had 7 daughters. They came to the well to get water and fill the troughs for their father's sheep. But some shepherds came and tried to push them away. Moses stood up for them, helped them, and gave water to their flock. When the girls got home earlier than usual, their father, Reuel, asked, "Why are you back so soon?" Later, one of his daughters became Moses' wife. She gave birth to a son, and Moses named him Gershom. He said, "I've been living in a land where I don't belong." After a long time, the king of Egypt died. The Israelites were still suffering as slaves. They cried out for help, and God heard them. He remembered his promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. God saw their pain and cared deeply for them. One day, Moses was taking care of his father-in-law Jethro's sheep. He led the flock deep into the wilderness and came to Mount Horeb, the mountain of God. There he saw an amazing sight. An angel of the Lord appeared in a flame of fire coming from a bush. But the bush wasn't burning up. Moses said, "I need to go see this strange thing, why the bush isn't burned." When the Lord saw Moses coming closer, he called out from the bush, "Moses! Moses!" Moses answered, "I'm here." God said, "I have come to rescue my people from the Egyptians and bring them to a good and wide land, a land full of milk and honey. It's the land where the Canaanites, Hittites, Perizzites, Amorites, Hivites, and Jebusites live. I've heard my people's cries, and I've seen how badly they are being treated. Now go. I'm sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people, the Israelites, out of Egypt." But Moses said, "Who am I to do this? Why would Pharaoh listen to me? How can I rescue the Israelites?" God replied, "I will be with you. And here's the sign that I've sent you. When you bring my people out of Egypt, you will worship me right here on this mountain." Moses said to God, "When I go to the Israelites and tell them, 'The God of your ancestors sent me,' then they'll ask, 'What's his name? What should I say?' God answered, 'I am who I am. Tell them, I am sent me to you." Then God added, "Tell the Israelites this too. The Lord, the God of your ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, has sent me to you. This is my name forever. This is how all generations will remember me. Now go gather the elders of Israel and tell them, 'The Lord, the God of your ancestors, appeared to me. He has seen what's been happening to you in Egypt. He promised to bring you out of this trouble and lead you to the land of the Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites, a land full of good things flowing with milk and honey. The elders will listen to you. Then you and the elders must go to the king of Egypt and say, 'The Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us. Please let us travel 3 days into the desert to offer sacrifices to our God.' But I know the king of Egypt won't let you go unless he's forced. So I will raise my hand and do powerful miracles to punish Egypt. After that, he will let you go. And when you leave, you won't leave empty-handed. I'll make the Egyptians kind to you, and they'll give you gifts." Then Moses said, "But what if they don't believe me or listen to me? What if they say, 'The Lord didn't appear to you?'" God asked, "What's that in your hand?" "A staff," Moses replied. "Throw it on the ground," God said. Moses threw it down, and it turned into a snake. He jumped back. Then God said, "Reach out and grab it by the tail." Moses did, and it turned back into a staff in his hand. God said, "This is so they will believe the Lord, the God of their ancestors. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob really appeared to you." Then God told Moses, "Put your hand inside your coat." Moses did, and when he pulled it out, his hand was white with a skin disease. "Now put it back in," God said. Moses did, and when he pulled it out again, his hand was healed. "If they don't believe the first sign," God said, "they will believe the second. But if they still don't listen, take some water from the river, pour it on the ground, and it will turn into blood." Later, God let Moses be, and Moses' wife said, "You're a groom of blood to me because of the circumcision." Then God said to Aaron, "Go meet Moses in the desert." Aaron did, and when he saw Moses at the mountain of God, he greeted him with a kiss. Moses told Aaron everything the Lord had said, including the signs he gave him. Then they went together and called a meeting with the leaders of Israel. Aaron told them everything the Lord had said and performed the signs. The people believed. When they heard that the Lord had seen their suffering and remembered them, they bowed down and worshipped. After that, Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh. They said, "This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Let my people go so they can hold a festival for me in the desert." Pharaoh replied, "Who is the Lord? Why should I listen to him? I don't know him, and I won't let Israel go." But they said, "The God of the Hebrews has appeared to us. Please let us travel 3 days into the wilderness to offer sacrifices to the Lord our God. If we don't, he may punish us with sickness or death." The king of Egypt said, "Why are you distracting the people from their work? Get back to your labor." He added, There are too many people already, and now you want them to stop working? That same day, Pharaoh gave an order to the slave drivers and overseers. Stop giving the people straw for making bricks. Let them go and collect it themselves, but they must still make the same number of bricks as before. Don't lower the amount. They're lazy, that's why they're saying, let us go and offer sacrifices to our God. Make the work harder so they'll be too busy to listen to lies. So the slave drivers and overseers went to the people and said, Pharaoh says he won't give you any more straw. Go find your own wherever you can, but your daily brick quota stays the same. The people scattered all over Egypt to gather straw. The slave drivers kept pushing them, saying, get your work done. You still have to make the same number of bricks as before. Then the overseers, the Israelite managers chosen by Pharaoh's slave drivers, were beaten. The slave drivers shouted, why didn't you meet your quota yesterday or today like before? The Israelite overseers went to Pharaoh and pleaded, why are you treating us this way? We're being told to make bricks, but no straw is given. And now we're being beaten. It's not our fault, it's your people who are wrong. But Pharaoh said, you're just lazy. That's why you're saying, let us go and worship the Lord. Now get back to work. No straw will be given, and you still have to make the same number of bricks. God spoke to Moses and said, I showed myself to Abraham and Isaac and Jacob as the all-powerful God, but I didn't make my name, the Lord, known to them. I made a promise to give them the land of Canaan where they once lived. I've heard the cries of the Israelites who are suffering as slaves in Egypt, and I've remembered what I promised. Tell the Israelites, I am the Lord. I will bring you out from under the heavy burdens the Egyptians put on you. I will save you from slavery with my strong power and mighty actions. You will be my people, and I will be your God. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God, the one who saved you from your suffering in Egypt. I will take you to the land I promised to give Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and I will give it to you as your own. I am the Lord. Moses gave this message to the Israelites, but they didn't listen because they were too discouraged from all the hardship they were going through. Then God told Moses, go to Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and tell him to let my people go. Moses said, the Israelites didn't even listen to me. Why would Pharaoh? I don't speak well. Even so, God told Moses and Aaron what to say and gave them the mission to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. These were the family leaders among the Israelites. Reuben's sons were Hanok, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. These were Reuben's family lines. Simeon's sons were Jemuel, Jamin, Ohad, Jachin, Zohar, and Shaul, whose mother was a Canaanite. These were Simeon's families. Levi had 3 sons, Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. Levi lived to be 137 years old. Gershon's sons were Libni and Shimei. Kohath's sons were Amram, Izhar, Hebron, and Uzziel. Kohath lived to be 133. Merari's sons were Mahli and Mushi. These were the Levite families. Amram married Jochebed, his father's sister, and they had Aaron and Moses. Amram lived to be 137 years old. Izhar's sons were Korah, Nepheg, and Zikri. Eleazar, who was Aaron's son, married a daughter of Putiel, and they had a son named Phinehas. These were the family leaders among the Levites. It was this same Aaron and Moses whom God chose to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. They were the ones who spoke to Pharaoh on God's behalf. On the day God spoke to Moses in Egypt, he said, I am the Lord. Tell Pharaoh everything I say to you. Moses replied, but I don't speak clearly. Why would Pharaoh listen to me? God told Moses, I'm making you like a god to Pharaoh, and Aaron will be your speaker. You will tell Aaron what I say, and he will speak to Pharaoh, asking him to let my people leave. But I will make Pharaoh stubborn, so that I can show my powerful signs and miracles in Egypt. Even then, he won't let you go right away. But I will punish Egypt with my mighty acts, and then I will lead my people out. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord when they see me rescue Israel with my power. Moses and Aaron did exactly what God told them. At the time, Moses was 80 years old and Aaron was 83. God told Moses and Aaron, "When Pharaoh asks for a miracle, tell Aaron to throw his staff on the ground and it will turn into a snake." So they went to Pharaoh and did what God said. Aaron threw down his staff and it became a snake. Pharaoh called his magicians, and they did the same thing with their tricks. Each threw down a staff, and those turned into snakes too. But Aaron's staff swallowed up their staffs. Still, Pharaoh wouldn't listen, just as God had said he wouldn't. Then God said to Moses, "Pharaoh's heart is stubborn. He won't let the people go. Go to him in the morning when he goes to the river. Wait for him by the riverbank and bring the staff that turned into a snake. Say to him, 'The Lord, the God of the Hebrews, sent me to you with this message. Let my people go so they can worship me in the desert.' But you haven't listened. So now this is what the Lord says. You will know I am the Lord when I strike the water of the Nile with this staff. The river will turn into blood. The fish will die, the water will stink, and the Egyptians won't be able to drink it." Then God told Moses, "Tell Aaron to stretch out his staff over all the water in Egypt, rivers, canals, ponds, and pools. Every bit of water, even in wooden buckets and stone jars, will turn to blood." Moses and Aaron did exactly what God told them. Aaron raised his staff and struck the water in the Nile right in front of Pharaoh and his officials. All the water turned into blood. The fish died, the river started to stink, and no one in Egypt could drink from it. Blood was everywhere. The Egyptian magicians used their tricks and did the same thing. So Pharaoh's heart stayed hard and he didn't listen, just as God had said. He went back to his palace and didn't care about what happened. The people of Egypt had to dig around the Nile to find drinking water because they couldn't use the river anymore. Then God told Moses, "Go to Pharaoh and say, 'The Lord says, let my people go so they can worship me. If you don't, I will fill your land with frogs. They'll come from the Nile and into your house, your bedroom, your bed, your kitchens, and even your ovens and bowls. Frogs will be everywhere, on you, your people, and your servants." Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and told him what God had said. Then God told Moses to tell Aaron, "Reach out your hand with your staff over the rivers, canals, and ponds, and bring out frogs all over Egypt." Aaron did as God said, and frogs came up everywhere, covering the land. Moses asked Pharaoh, "When do you want me to ask God to remove the frogs from your people, your servants, and your houses, and leave them only in the Nile?" Pharaoh answered, "Tomorrow." Moses said, "It will be done just as you say, so that you will know there's no one like the Lord our God. The frogs will leave your houses, your people, and your servants. They'll stay only in the Nile." Moses and Aaron left Pharaoh, and Moses prayed to God about the frogs. God did what Moses asked. The frogs died in the houses, courtyards, and fields. People piled them up in heaps, and the land smelled terrible. But when Pharaoh saw the problem was gone, he hardened his heart again and didn't listen, just like God had said. Next, God told Moses to tell Aaron, "Stretch out your staff and strike the dust of the ground. It will turn into gnats all over Egypt." Aaron did it, and gnats came from the dust. They covered both people and animals. The magicians tried to do the same, but they couldn't. They said to Pharaoh, "This is the hand of God." But Pharaoh still wouldn't listen, just as God had warned. Then God told Moses, "Get up early and meet Pharaoh as he goes to the river. Tell him, 'The Lord says, let my people go so they can worship me. If you don't, I will send swarms of flies on you, your people, your servants, and your homes. The houses of Egypt and even the ground will be filled with flies. But in Goshen, where my people live, there will be no flies. This will show you that I, the Lord, am here in your land. I will make a clear difference between my people and yours. This will happen tomorrow." And God did exactly that. Huge swarms of flies filled Pharaoh's house, his officials' homes, and the land itself was ruined by the flies. Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron and said, "Go ahead, offer sacrifices to your God, but do it here in Egypt." Moses replied, "That wouldn't be right. The animals we sacrifice are offensive to the Egyptians. If we do that in front of them, they'll kill us." Then God set a time and said, "Tomorrow I will do this in the land." Moses and Aaron gave Pharaoh the message. The Lord says, "Let my people go so they can worship me. If you refuse, God's hand will strike your animals in the fields, horses, donkeys, camels, cows, and sheep, with a deadly disease. But God will protect the animals of Israel, and not one will die." The next day, God did exactly what he said. All the Egyptian livestock died, but not a single animal belonging to the Israelites was harmed. Pharaoh checked and saw it was true. Still, he remained stubborn and wouldn't let the people go. Then God told Moses and Aaron, "Take ashes from a furnace. Moses will throw them into the air in front of Pharaoh. The ashes will turn into dust over the land and cause painful boils to break out on people and animals." So they took ashes, stood before Pharaoh, and Moses tossed them into the air. Painful sores broke out on everyone. Even the magicians couldn't stand before Moses because the boils were all over them too. But God hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he wouldn't listen, just as God had said. Then God said to Moses, "Get up early and tell Pharaoh, 'The Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says, let my people go so they can worship me. If you don't, I will send my worst plagues on you, your officials, and your people. Then you'll know there is no one like me in the whole world. By now I could have wiped you out completely. But I let you live so that you could see my power, and so that everyone would know my name. Still, you continue to act proud and refuse to let my people go. So tomorrow I will send the worst hailstorm Egypt has ever seen since it became a nation." Then the Lord said, "Bring your animals and workers inside. Anyone or anything left outside when the hail falls will die." Some of Pharaoh's officials took this warning seriously. They quickly brought their servants and animals indoors. But others ignored it and left them out in the fields. Then God told Moses, "Raise your hand toward the sky, and hail will fall all over Egypt, on people, animals, and plants." Moses lifted his staff toward the sky, and God sent thunder, hail, and lightning flashing to the ground. It was the worst storm Egypt had ever seen. The hail fell across the land, killing people and animals who were outside. It crushed plants and trees. But in Goshen, where the Israelites lived, there was no hail. Pharaoh sent for Moses and Aaron and said, "I've sinned this time. The Lord is right, and my people and I are wrong. Please pray to your God to stop the thunder and hail. I'll let you go. You don't have to stay any longer." Moses answered, "As soon as I leave the city, I'll raise my hands to the Lord. The thunder and hail will stop so that you'll know the earth belongs to God. But I know you and your officials still don't really respect the Lord." The flax and barley crops were destroyed because they were already growing. But the wheat and spelt weren't harmed because they hadn't sprouted yet. Moses left Pharaoh, went out of the city, and lifted his hands to God. The thunder and hail stopped, and the rain ended. But when Pharaoh saw that everything had calmed down, he went right back to his old ways. He and his officials hardened their hearts again, and he refused to let the Israelites go, just like God had said would happen. Then God told Moses, "Go to Pharaoh. I've made him and his officials stubborn so I can show them my powerful signs. Then you can tell your children and grandchildren what I did in Egypt and how I performed miracles. This way they will know that I am the Lord." Moses and Aaron went to Pharaoh and said, "The Lord, the God of the Hebrews, says, 'How long will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go so they can worship me. If you don't, tomorrow I will send a swarm of locusts into your land. They will cover the ground so thick that you won't be able to see it. They'll eat everything left after the hail, including every tree in your fields. They'll fill your houses and the homes of your people and officials. Nothing like this has ever happened in your history." Then Moses and Aaron left Pharaoh. Pharaoh's officials said to him, "How much longer will you let this man bring disaster on us? Let the people go worship their God. Don't you see that Egypt is already ruined?" So Pharaoh called Moses and Aaron back and said, "Go worship the Lord your God." But who exactly is going? Moses answered, "We'll all go, young and old, sons and daughters, and we'll take our flocks and herds because we're holding a festival for the Lord." Pharaoh replied, "The Lord better be with you if I ever let you take your children. You clearly have something sneaky in mind. No, only the men can go and worship the Lord. That's what you really want. Then he had them thrown out. Then God said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over Egypt so the locusts can come and eat what the hail didn't destroy." Moses did what God said. A strong east wind blew all that day and night. By morning the locusts had arrived. They covered the land completely. There had never been so many, and there never would be again. They ate every green plant and all the fruit on the trees that the hail had left behind. Nothing green was left anywhere in Egypt. Pharaoh quickly sent for Moses and Aaron. He said, "I've sinned against the Lord your God and against you. Please forgive me just this once and pray to your God to take away this deadly plague." Moses left Pharaoh and prayed to God. God sent a powerful west wind that blew all the locusts into the Red Sea. Not a single one was left in Egypt. But Pharaoh's heart was hard again, and he wouldn't let the Israelites go. Then God told Moses, "Raise your hand to the sky, and darkness will cover the land of Egypt." Moses raised his hand, and darkness spread over Egypt for 3 days. People couldn't see each other or even move from their places. But the Israelites had light where they lived. Pharaoh called for Moses and said, "Fine, go worship the Lord. Take your children with you, but leave your flocks and herds here." Moses answered, "We must take our animals too. We don't know what we'll need to offer the Lord until we get there. Not even a hoof can be left behind." But God made Pharaoh even more stubborn. He wouldn't let them go. He shouted at Moses, "Get out of here, don't ever come back. If I see you again, you'll die." Then God made the Egyptians respect the Israelites, and people looked up to Moses. He was considered great throughout Egypt, even among Pharaoh's officials. Moses said to Pharaoh, "Here's what the Lord says. Around midnight I will go through Egypt. Every firstborn will die, from the oldest son of Pharaoh to the firstborn of the lowest servant, even the firstborn of the animals. There will be loud crying throughout Egypt like never before. But not even a dog will bark at the Israelites or their animals. This will show you that God makes a difference between Egypt and Israel. Then your officials will come to me, bow down and say, 'Please leave, you and your people.' And then we'll go." Moses left Pharaoh very angry. God told Moses, "Pharaoh won't listen to you, but that's so I can show even more of my miracles in Egypt." Moses and Aaron showed all the signs God had given them, but God made Pharaoh's heart hard. So Pharaoh still refused to let the Israelites go. Then God spoke to Moses and Aaron while they were still in Egypt. He said, "This month will be the start of your new calendar. It will be the first month of the year for you. Tell everyone in Israel. On the 10th day of this month, each household must choose a lamb. If a family is too small to eat a whole lamb, they can share one with their neighbor. The lamb must be a 1-year-old male with no defects. It can be a sheep or a goat. Keep the lamb until the 14th day, then everyone must kill their lambs at sunset. Use the blood to mark the top and sides of the doors of the houses where you will eat. Roast the lamb over a fire and eat it that same night. Eat it with bitter herbs and flat bread with no yeast. Don't eat it raw or boiled. Roast everything, including the head, legs, and inner parts. Don't leave any leftovers until morning. Burn whatever you don't eat. When you eat, be ready to go. Wear your coat and shoes and carry your walking stick. Eat quickly, because this is the Lord's Passover. That night I will pass through Egypt and kill every firstborn son, both people and animals. I will bring judgment on all the gods of Egypt. I am the Lord. But if I see blood on your doors, I will pass over your homes. You won't be hurt when I punish Egypt. Remember this day forever. Celebrate it every year as a special festival to honor me. Keep it as a lasting tradition. For 7 days, eat only bread without yeast. On the first day, get rid of all yeast from your homes. Anyone who eats bread with yeast during this time will no longer be part of the community of Israel. On the first and last days of the week, have a holy gathering. Don't do any work except cooking. Celebrate this festival because it marks the day I led your people out of Egypt. This is a rule to follow forever. Start eating the unleavened bread on the evening of the 14th day of the first month. Keep doing this until the evening of the 21st. For 7 days, make sure there is no yeast in your homes. Anyone who eats anything with yeast, whether they were born in Israel or are just living with you, must be removed from the community. Only eat bread without yeast in all your homes." Then Moses called all the leaders of Israel together and said, "Pick out your lambs and prepare them for the Passover. Take a bunch of hyssop, dip it in the blood, and smear it on the top and sides of your door frames. No one should leave their house until morning." Later, Moses told the people, "When your children ask, 'Why do we do this?' tell them, 'This is the Lord's Passover. He passed over our houses when he punished the Egyptians, and he kept us safe." Everyone bowed down and worshipped. That same night, Pharaoh sent for Moses and Aaron and said, "Get out of here, you and all your people. Leave and worship the Lord like you said. Take your animals with you too, and please bless me before you go." The Egyptians begged the Israelites to leave quickly. They said, "If you stay any longer, we'll all die." So the Israelites packed up their bread dough before it had risen. They wrapped their kneading bowls in cloth and carried them on their shoulders. They also asked the Egyptians for silver, gold, and clothing, just as Moses had said. God made the Egyptians kind to them, so they gave the Israelites whatever they asked for. In the end, the Israelites took a lot of valuables from Egypt. The people of Israel left Rameses and walked to Succoth. There were about 600,000 men, not counting the women and children. Many others joined them, along with their livestock, tons of sheep, goats, and cattle. They baked flatbread from the dough they brought. It didn't have yeast because they didn't have time to let it rise. They were forced to leave in a rush. The Israelites had lived in Egypt for 430 years. On the very day that time ended, God's people left Egypt in a great crowd. That night was very special and would always be remembered and celebrated by the people of Israel, because it was the night the Lord brought them out of slavery. God gave Moses and Aaron rules for the Passover. No outsider may eat the Passover meal, but if you bought a servant and had him circumcised, then he may join in. Visitors and hired workers can't eat it. The entire meal must be eaten in one house. Don't take any of it outside or break any of the bones. Everyone in Israel must celebrate the Passover. If someone from another land wants to join in, all the males in their household must be circumcised. Then they can celebrate too. But anyone who hasn't done this must not eat the meal. Then Moses told the people, "Remember this day, you were slaves in Egypt, but the Lord brought you out with his great power. Don't eat bread with yeast. Today, in the month of Abib, you are leaving Egypt." When God brings you into the land he promised your ancestors, a land full of blessings, keep this tradition each year. For 7 days, eat bread without yeast. On the 7th day, celebrate a feast to the Lord. During these 7 days, don't allow any yeast in your homes or anywhere in your land. God also said, "Give me every firstborn male, both human and animal. They belong to me. If a donkey is born first, you must trade it for a lamb. If you don't, break its neck. You must also trade something to buy back every firstborn son." Then God said, "When your children ask, 'Why do we do this?' tell them, 'The Lord rescued us from slavery in Egypt with great power. When Pharaoh refused to let us go, God killed every firstborn in Egypt, both people and animals. That's why we give the firstborn males to God and buy back our sons.' This will serve as a reminder, like a mark on your hand or forehead, of how the Lord saved us." Then Moses and the Israelites sang a song to God. "I will sing to the Lord because he has won a great victory. He threw the horse and rider into the sea." When Pharaoh finally let them go, God didn't take them through the land of the Philistines, even though it was the shortest route. God said, if they see war, they might get scared and return to Egypt. So God led them through the desert toward the Red Sea. The Israelites left Egypt ready for battle. Moses brought along Joseph's bones because Joseph had made the people promise to take his bones with them when God rescued them. The people left Succoth and set up camp in Otham, near the edge of the desert. During the day, God led them with a pillar of cloud, and at night with a pillar of fire. That way they could travel both day and night. The cloud and fire never left their sight. God told Moses, "Tell the Israelites to turn around and set up camp by the sea near Pi Hahiroth, between Migdol and Baal-Zephon. Camp right in front of the water. Pharaoh will think you're trapped and confused in the desert. I will make him stubborn again so he'll come after you. But through this, I'll show my power to everyone in Egypt, and they will know I am the Lord." The people did just as God said. When Pharaoh heard that the Israelites had left, he and his officials regretted their decision. They said, "Why did we let them go? What were we thinking? We've lost our workers." Pharaoh quickly got his chariot ready and called his army together. He took 600 of his best chariots along with the rest of Egypt's chariots, all led by officers. God made Pharaoh's heart stubborn again, so he chased the Israelites, who had left boldly. Pharaoh's horses, chariots, riders, and soldiers all went after them. They caught up with the Israelites near the sea, right where they had camped. As Pharaoh's army got closer, the Israelites looked up and saw them coming. They were terrified and cried out to God. Then they said to Moses, "Why did you bring us out here to die? Were there not enough graves in Egypt? Why did you make us leave? Didn't we tell you in Egypt to just leave us alone so we could keep working for the Egyptians? It would have been better to live as slaves than to die in this desert." But Moses said, "Don't be afraid. Stay calm and watch how the Lord will save you today. The Egyptians you see now, you'll never see them again. The Lord will fight for you. Just stay still." God said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the people to keep moving. Lift your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water so the Israelites can walk through on dry land. I will make the Egyptians stubborn again so they chase after you. Then I will show my power through Pharaoh and his army, and everyone in Egypt will know that I am the Lord." Then the angel of God who had been leading the Israelites moved behind them. The pillar of cloud also moved from in front to behind, standing between the Egyptian army and the Israelites. The cloud brought darkness to the Egyptians, but gave light to the Israelites. Neither group could get near the other all night. Moses stretched out his hand over the sea. God sent a strong east wind that blew all night, pushing the water back and turning the sea into dry ground. The water split, forming walls on both sides. The Israelites walked through on the dry path. The Egyptians followed them. All of Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and riders went in after them. Just before dawn, God looked down from the pillar of fire and cloud and caused panic in the Egyptian army. He jammed their wheels, making their chariots hard to drive. The Egyptians said, "Let's run away, the Lord is fighting for the Israelites." Then God told Moses, "Stretch out your hand again over the sea so the waters will come back down on the Egyptians and their chariots and riders." Moses did as God said, and by morning the sea returned to normal. As the Egyptians tried to escape, God swept them into the water. They had said, "We'll catch them, take their things, and destroy them with our swords." But with one strong wind, God wiped them out. The sea rushed over them, and they sank like stones in deep water. "Who is like you, Lord?" the people sang. "Who else is so holy and powerful? Who does amazing things like you? You reached out your hand, and the earth swallowed our enemies. With love, you led the people you saved. You gave them strength and brought them to your holy place." People from other lands heard what happened and were scared. The people of Philistia were shaking. The leaders of Edom and Moab were terrified. Everyone in Canaan felt helpless. Fear and dread fell on them. Your power froze them in their tracks until your people passed by, until the people you rescued made it through. You will bring them to your mountain, the place you made to live in. You built it with your own hands. The Lord will rule forever. When Pharaoh's army went into the sea, God brought the water back over them. But the Israelites walked through on dry land. Then Miriam, the prophet and sister of Aaron, took a tambourine. All the women followed her, dancing and playing tambourines. Miriam sang, "Sing to the Lord. He has won a huge victory. He threw horse and rider into the sea." After leaving the Red Sea, Moses led the people into the desert of Shur. They traveled for 3 days without finding water. When they reached a place called Marah, they couldn't drink the water because it was too bitter. That's why the place was named Marah, which means bitter. The people started complaining to Moses. They asked, "What are we supposed to drink?" Moses prayed, and God showed him a tree. Moses threw the tree into the water, and the water became good to drink. That's where God gave them a law and tested their faith. God said, If you listen to me carefully, do what is right, and obey my commands, I won't bring the same diseases on you that I brought on the Egyptians. I am the Lord who heals you." Then they arrived at Elim, a place with 12 springs and 70 palm trees. They camped there by the water. After leaving Elim, the entire group of Israelites came to the desert of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai. It was the 15th day of the second month since they left Egypt. Once again, they complained to Moses and Aaron. They said, "We wish the Lord had let us die in Egypt. At least there we had plenty of meat and bread. But you brought us into this desert to starve us all to death." God said to Moses, "I will send bread down from the sky for you. Each day the people should gather just enough for that day. I'll use this to see if they follow my instructions, but on the 6th day they need to gather twice as much as usual and prepare it." Moses and Aaron told the Israelites, "Tonight you will know that it was the Lord who brought you out of Egypt. Tomorrow morning you'll see his greatness, because he's heard your complaints. Who are we that you complain to us? Really, your complaints are against the Lord." Moses continued, "This evening the Lord will give you meat, and in the morning he will give you all the bread you need. The Lord has heard all your complaints. But remember, it's not us you're complaining about, it's him." God told Moses, "I've heard what the Israelites are saying. Tell them, 'Tonight you will eat meat, and in the morning you'll have plenty of bread. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God.'" That evening, a huge flock of quail came and covered the camp. In the morning, dew lay around the camp. When the dew dried, there was something thin and flaky on the ground, kind of like frost. The people asked each other, "What is this?" because they didn't know what it was. Moses said, "This is the bread God is giving you. Here's what he commands. Gather enough for each person in your tent, 1 omer per person." So they did. Some gathered more, some less. But when they measured it, everyone had exactly what they needed. No one had too much or too little. Moses warned them, "Don't keep any of it until morning." But some didn't listen. They saved some overnight, and it turned rotten and full of worms. Moses was upset with them. Later, Moses said, "Tomorrow is a special day of rest, a holy Sabbath for the Lord. Bake or boil what you want today. Keep the rest for tomorrow." They followed his instructions, and the leftover food didn't spoil. Moses told them, "Eat this today. Today is the Sabbath. You won't find any bread on the ground today. You can gather it for 6 days, but not on the 7th. Even though they were told this, some people went out on the 7th day to gather food, but there was none. God said to Moses, "How long will you ignore my commands? Don't you see that I've given you enough for 2 days on the 6th day? Stay where you are on the 7th. Don't go out." So the people rested that day. The Israelites called the bread manna. It was white like coriander seed and tasted like honey wafers. Moses said, "God wants 1 omer of it kept for future generations, so they can see the bread he gave us in the wilderness when he brought us out of Egypt." Moses told Aaron to put some manna in a jar and keep it safe before the Lord. Aaron followed God's instructions and placed the jar before the tablets of the covenant to be preserved. The Israelites ate manna for 40 years until they reached the edge of the land of Canaan. An omer is 1/10 of an ephah. Then the whole community traveled from the wilderness of Sin to Rephidim, as God had instructed. But there was no water there, and the people argued with Moses. They demanded, "Give us water to drink." Moses replied, "Why are you arguing with me? Why are you testing the Lord?" But the people were very thirsty. They kept complaining, saying, "Why did you bring us out of Egypt just to kill us, our children, and our animals with thirst?" Moses cried out to the Lord, "What am I supposed to do with these people? They're about to stone me." God said, "Take some of the elders and your staff, the one you used to strike the Nile River, and go ahead of the people. I'll stand before you on a rock at Horeb. Strike the rock, and water will come out for the people to drink." Moses did exactly that in front of the elders. He named the place Massah and Meribah, which mean testing and arguing, because the people tested the Lord by asking, "Is the Lord really with us or not?" Then the people of Amalek came and attacked Israel at Rephidim. Moses said to Joshua, "Choose some men and go fight Amalek. Tomorrow I'll stand on top of the hill with the staff of God in my hand." Joshua did what Moses said and went to fight. Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up the hill. When Moses held his hands up, why, Israel was winning. But when he let his hands down, Amalek started winning. Moses' arms got tired, so they brought him a stone to sit on. Aaron and Hur stood on each side of him and held up his hands. He kept them steady until sunset. Joshua defeated Amalek's army with the sword. Then God said to Moses, "Write this down as a reminder and read it to Joshua. I will completely erase Amalek's name from under heaven." Moses built an altar and named it, "The Lord is my banner." He said, "The Lord will fight against Amalek from generation to generation." Jethro, the priest of Midian and Moses' father-in-law, heard about everything God had done for Moses and the Israelites, how he brought them out of Egypt. Jethro brought Moses' wife Zipporah and their 2 sons to him. One son was named Gershom, which means, "I've been a stranger in a foreign land." The other was Eliezer, meaning, "God helped me and saved me from Pharaoh's sword." Jethro came to Moses in the desert, where he was camped near the mountain of God. He sent word ahead, "I, your father-in-law Jethro, am here with your wife and your 2 sons." Moses went out to meet Jethro. He bowed down and kissed him. They asked how each other was doing and went into the tent. Moses told Jethro all about what the Lord had done to Pharaoh in Egypt, all the hardships they had faced, and how God rescued them. Jethro was filled with joy because of all the good things the Lord had done for Israel by saving them from the Egyptians. Jethro said, "Praise the Lord for saving you from the Egyptians and from Pharaoh. He rescued the people from Egypt's control. Now I truly know that the Lord is greater than all other gods. He proved it when the Egyptians acted arrogantly." Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, offered a burnt sacrifice to God. Aaron and the elders of Israel came to share a meal with him in God's presence. The next day, Moses sat down to help settle the people's problems. From morning to evening, everyone stood around waiting to speak with him. When Jethro saw this, he asked, "Why are you doing all this alone? Why do the people stand around you all day?" Moses replied, "Because they come to me to ask for God's guidance. When people have disagreements, they come to me and I settle things by explaining God's rules and teachings." Jethro said, "This isn't a good system. You'll wear yourself out and the people too. It's too much for you to handle by yourself. Listen to me, and may God be with you. You should continue to speak to God for the people and teach them His commands and how they should live. But also choose trustworthy men who respect God and hate dishonesty. Put them in charge of groups, some over thousands, others over hundreds, 50s or 10s. Let them handle the smaller problems. Only the big, difficult cases should come to you. This way, you'll lighten your load and the people will help carry it. If God agrees, this will keep you from burning out, and everyone will go home more peacefully." Moses listened to Jethro's advice and followed it. He said, "I can't do this by myself anymore. The Lord has made your numbers grow so much, you're as many as the stars in the sky. May God continue to bless you. But how can I handle all your needs, your problems, and arguments on my own?" So he told the people, "Choose wise, respected, and experienced men from your tribes. I'll put them in charge of you." The people agreed that it was a good idea. Moses chose capable leaders from each tribe. He made them leaders over thousands, hundreds, 50s, and 10s. He instructed the judges to be fair and listen carefully to everyone, rich or poor, powerful or weak. He reminded them that true justice comes from God. If a case was too hard, they were to bring it to him. So they judged the people all the time, bringing only the hardest cases to Moses. Then Moses said goodbye to his father-in-law, and Jethro returned home. 3 months after leaving Egypt, the Israelites arrived in the desert of Sinai. Moses gathered the elders and told them everything God had said. The people all answered together, "We will do everything the Lord has told us." Moses went back and gave their answer to God. God said, "I'm going to come to you in a thick cloud. That way, the people will hear me speak to you and trust you forever." God told Moses, "I'm making a covenant with the people. I'll do amazing things, miracles no one has ever seen before. Everyone around will witness what I, the Lord, will do." God continued, "Tell the people to prepare themselves today and tomorrow. Have them wash their clothes and get ready. On the third day, I will come down on Mount Sinai where everyone can see. Set a boundary around the mountain and warn the people. Don't go up the mountain or even touch it. Anyone who does must be put to death, whether man or animal. Don't touch them. They must be stoned or shot with arrows. But when the trumpet sounds long, the people can come near the mountain. Moses went down and told the people. They prepared and washed their clothes. He also told them, "Get ready for the third day. Don't go near your spouses." On the morning of the third day, there was thunder and lightning. A thick cloud covered the mountain, and a loud trumpet blast echoed. The people trembled with fear. Moses led them out of the camp to meet God, and they stood at the foot of the mountain. Moses said to God, "The people won't come up the mountain. You already told us to set a boundary and keep it holy." But God replied, "Go down and bring Aaron back up with you. But make sure the priests and people don't try to climb up, or they'll be punished." So Moses went down and told the people. Then God spoke all these words, "I am the Lord your God. I brought you out of Egypt, where you were slaves." He said, "Don't bow down or serve idols. I, the Lord your God, am passionate and protective. I will hold those who hate me accountable across generations, but I will show love to thousands who love me and keep my commandments." When the people saw the thunder, lightning, smoke, and heard the trumpet, they were terrified. They stood far away and said to Moses, "We've seen God's power and heard his voice from the fire. We know a person can hear God and live, but we're afraid. If we hear his voice again, we'll die. Who else has ever heard God speak from fire and survived? You speak to us and we'll listen. Just don't let God speak to us directly. We're too afraid." God also said, "If you build me an altar, don't use cut stones. If you shape the stones with tools, you'll make them unclean. And don't build stairs to my altar so your body isn't exposed. Here are the rules you must share with the people. If you buy a Hebrew servant, he will work for 6 years. In the 7th year, he can go free without paying anything. If he came alone, he leaves alone. If he was married, his wife can leave with him. But if his master gave him a wife and they had children, the wife and kids stay with the master and the man goes free by himself. However, if the servant says, 'I love my master, my wife, and my children. I don't want to leave,' then his master must take him to God, then to a door or doorpost and use an awl to pierce his ear. That servant will serve him for life. If someone accidentally kills another person, and it wasn't planned, but God allowed it to happen, a place will be set up where that person can run to for safety. But if someone plans to kill on purpose, even if he runs to the altar, you must take him away to be punished with death. If 2 men get into a fight and one hits the other with a rock or a fist, and the injured man doesn't die but is stuck in bed, the man who hit him must pay for the time the other can't work and make sure he fully recovers. If he recovers enough to walk outside with a cane, then the man who hit him won't be punished beyond paying for the lost time. If someone hits a male or female servant with a stick and the servant dies, the attacker must be punished. But if the servant survives for a day or 2, he isn't punished because the servant is considered the owner's property. If men fight and accidentally hit a pregnant woman, causing her to give birth early but no harm is done, the one who caused it must pay whatever the husband demands and the judge approves. But if harm is done, the punishment must match the injury. Life for life, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burn for burn, wound for wound, bruise for bruise. If someone injures the eye of their male or female servant and blinds them, the servant must be set free. The same goes if a tooth is knocked out. The servant must go free because of it. If an ox kills a man or woman by goring them, the ox must be killed, and its meat not eaten. But the owner won't be punished unless the ox had done this before, and the owner had been warned and didn't keep it tied up. In that case, if someone dies, the ox must be killed and the owner too. However, if the owner can pay a fine instead, he must pay whatever amount is demanded. This rule also applies if the ox kills a child. If the ox kills a servant, the owner must pay the servant's master 30 silver coins, and the ox must be killed. If someone steals an ox or a sheep and then kills or sells it, they must repay 5 oxen for 1 ox and 4 sheep for 1 sheep. If a thief is caught breaking in and is killed, it's not murder. But if it happens after sunrise, it is murder. The thief must pay for what he stole. If he has nothing to pay, he must be sold to repay the theft. If the stolen animal is found alive, the thief must pay double. If someone lets his animals wander into someone else's field or vineyard, and they eat the crops, he must repay from the best part of his own field or vineyard. If someone starts a fire and it spreads, burning grain or fields, the person who started the fire must pay for the damage. If a man gives his neighbor money or goods to look after and it gets stolen, the thief, if found, must pay double. If the thief isn't found, the owner of the house must be brought before God to see if he stole it himself. If something borrowed is damaged or dies while the owner isn't there, the borrower must pay for it. But if the owner is present, no repayment is needed. If it was rented, the loss is covered by the rental fee. If a man sleeps with a woman who is not engaged, he must pay her family and marry her. If her father refuses, the man still has to pay the dowry. Don't let a sorceress live. Anyone who has sexual relations with an animal must be put to death. Anyone who sacrifices to any god other than the Lord must be destroyed. Don't mistreat or oppress foreigners. You were once foreigners in Egypt. Don't hurt widows or orphans. If you do and they cry out to me, I will hear them, and my anger will burn. I will strike you down, and your wives will become widows and your children orphans. If you lend money to poor people among you, don't act like a greedy lender and don't charge interest. If you take a man's coat as a promise, give it back before sunset. It might be the only thing he has to sleep in. If he cries out to me, I will hear him because I am kind. Don't speak badly about God or curse your leaders. Don't delay in giving me the first share of your harvest and wine. Give me your firstborn sons too. Do the same with your oxen and sheep. Let them stay with their mothers for 7 days, then give them to me on the 8th. Be holy people to me. Don't eat meat that has been torn by wild animals. Give it to the dogs instead. If you see your enemy's donkey struggling under a heavy load, don't leave it like that. Help him. Don't twist justice against the poor in court. Stay far from lies. Don't kill innocent or honest people because I won't let the guilty go free. Don't accept bribes. They blind the wise and mess up fair decisions. Don't mistreat outsiders. You know how it feels to be a foreigner because you were once foreigners in Egypt. You may plant and harvest your land for 6 years, but on the 7th year, let the land rest. Don't plant anything. This way, the poor in your community can take whatever grows on its own, and wild animals can eat what's left. Do the same for your grapevines and olive trees. You are to work for 6 days, but on the 7th day, take a break. Let your ox and donkey rest too. This also gives your workers and anyone staying with you time to rest and recover. Follow everything I've told you carefully. Do not speak the names of other gods. Don't even say them. Celebrate 3 festivals for me each year. The first is the Festival of Unleavened Bread. For 7 days, eat bread without yeast, as I told you before. Do this during the month of Abib, because that's when you left Egypt. And when you come to me, don't come empty-handed, bring an offering. The second is the Festival of Harvest, when you gather the first part of your crops. The third is the Festival of Ingathering, held at the end of the year when you bring in the rest of the crops from your fields. I won't remove all the people living in the land right away. If I did, wild animals would take over the empty land. Instead, I'll drive them out a little at a time. As your population grows and you're ready to live there, I will give you land from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean, and from the desert to the Euphrates River. I will help you defeat the people already living there, and you will drive them out ahead of you. God said to Moses, "Come up the mountain to me. Bring Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, Ithamar, and 70 of the elders of Israel. You will all worship from a distance. Only you, Moses, may come close. The others must stay back. The people must not come up the mountain." Moses returned and told the people everything God had said. The people all answered together, "We will do everything the Lord told us to do." Moses wrote down everything God had said. The next morning, he built an altar at the base of the mountain and set up 12 stone pillars, one for each tribe of Israel. He had young men from the community offer burnt sacrifices and peace offerings of oxen to the Lord. Moses collected half the blood and put it into bowls. The other half he sprinkled on the altar. Then he read the book of the covenant to the people. Again they said, "We will do everything the Lord said. We will obey." Moses took the blood, sprinkled it on the people, and said, "This is the blood of the agreement the Lord made with you through these words." After that, Moses went up the mountain with Aaron, Nadab, Abihu, Eleazar, Ithamar, and the 70 elders. They saw God. Under his feet was something like bright blue stone, as clear as the sky. God didn't harm them. They saw him and ate and drank in his presence. God said, "Tell the people to bring special gifts, onyx stones and other precious stones for the priest's vest and chest piece. Have them build a special place for me so I can live among them. Build it exactly the way I show you, including all the furniture. They must build an ark out of acacia wood. It should be 3 3/4 feet long, 2 1/4 feet wide, and the same height. Cover it completely with pure gold inside and out, and add a gold border around the top. Make 4 gold rings and attach them to the bottom corners. Make 2 poles out of acacia wood and cover them with gold. Slide the poles into the rings on the sides so you can carry the ark. Don't remove the poles. Inside the ark, place the stone tablets I will give you. Make a special cover for the ark out of pure gold. It should be the same size as the top of the ark. On each end, make a golden angel. Shape them from the same piece of gold. The angels should face each other, with wings raised and covering the ark. This is called the mercy seat. Place it on top of the ark. I will meet with you there and talk to you from between the 2 angels about everything I want you to say to the people of Israel. Also build a table from acacia wood. Make it 3 feet long, 1 1/2 feet wide, and 2 1/4 feet tall. Cover it with pure gold and add a gold trim around the edges. Make a gold border around the rim about 3 inches wide. Add 4 gold rings to the corners at the legs near the rim. These rings will hold the poles used to carry the table. Make the poles from acacia wood and cover them in gold. Make all the dishes, cups, pitchers, and bowls out of pure gold. These are used for pouring offerings. Always keep the special bread on the table as an offering to me. Make a lampstand out of pure gold. It should be made from 1 piece, including the base, stem, cups, buds, and blossoms. It will have 6 branches, 3 on each side. Each branch will have 3 almond-shaped cups with a bud and a blossom. The center shaft will have 4 of these as well. Each curtain for the tent should be 45 feet long and 6 feet wide. Make 11 of them, all the same size. Connect 5 of them into one group and the remaining 6 into another group. Fold the 6th curtain in the front of the tent. Make 50 loops on the edge of the last curtain in each group, so they can be joined together. Make 50 bronze clasps and use them to fasten the loops so the tent becomes one whole piece. The extra half curtain should hang over the back of the sacred tent. On each side, a little extra fabric, about 1.5 feet, should hang down to cover the sides. Make a top covering for the tent from ram skins dyed red, and another outer layer from fine leather. Build the framework of the sacred tent using upright boards made from acacia wood. Each board should have 2 silver bases. Use 6 boards for the back side of the tent, and make 2 more for the back corners. These corner boards should be separate at the bottom, but joined together at the top with a ring. This is how the 2 corners should be built. So, in total, there should be 8 boards with 16 silver bases, 2 bases under each board. Make 5 wooden bars for each long side of the tent and 5 for the back side. The middle bar should run through the center of the boards from one end to the other. Cover the boards and bars with gold, and make gold rings on the boards to hold the bars in place. Set up the tent exactly the way I showed you on the mountain. Make a curtain out of blue, purple, and red yarn and fine linen. It should have designs of angels woven into it by skilled workers. Hang the curtain on 4 posts made of acacia wood covered in gold. The posts should have gold hooks and stand in silver bases. Hang the curtain under the clasps and place the Ark of the Covenant behind it. This curtain will separate the holy place from the most holy place. Place the lid, called the mercy seat, on top of the ark in the most holy place. Put the table outside the curtain on the north side and place the lampstand across from it on the south side. Build a small altar from acacia wood for burning incense. It should be square, 1.5 feet on each side, and 3 feet tall with horns on its corners made as one piece. Cover the top, sides, and horns with pure gold, and put a gold border around it. Make 2 gold rings under the border, one on each side, to hold poles for carrying it. Use acacia wood for the poles and cover them with gold. Place this altar in front of the curtain that hides the Ark of the Covenant. This is where I will meet with you. Aaron will burn sweet-smelling incense on it every morning when he takes care of the lamps, and again each evening when he lights them. This incense should always be burned before me for all generations. Don't burn any strange incense or offer any animal or grain sacrifices on this altar. Don't pour drink offerings on it either. Once a year, Aaron must make a special offering on the altar's horns, using the blood of the sin offering. This yearly act will make the altar pure and holy to me. Make a curtain for the entrance of the tent using blue, purple, and red thread and fine linen. It should be beautifully made by an embroiderer. Hang it on 5 acacia wood posts covered with gold. The hook should also be gold, and the posts should stand in 5 bronze bases. Build the large altar out of acacia wood. It should be square, 7.5 feet on each side and 4.5 feet high. Make horns on all 4 corners from the same piece of wood and cover the whole altar with bronze. Make bronze tools for it, pots to remove ashes, shovels, bowls, meat forks, and fire pans. Make a bronze grating for the altar with a ring at each corner. Place this under the ledge halfway up the altar. Make acacia wood poles covered in bronze to carry it. Put the poles through the rings on each side of the altar. The altar should be made hollow, just like I showed you on the mountain. Make a courtyard around the sacred tent. On the south side, put up fine linen curtains 150 feet long with 20 bronze posts and bases. The hooks and bands should be silver. Do the same on the north side, 150 feet of curtains with 20 posts and bases, silver hooks and bands. On the west side, make curtains 75 feet long with 10 posts and 10 bases. On the east side, also make the courtyard 75 feet wide. Each side of the entrance should have a curtain 22.5 feet long, with 3 posts and 3 bases. All the posts around the courtyard should have silver bands and hooks and bronze bases. The courtyard will be 150 feet long, 75 feet wide, and 7.5 feet high. The curtains will be made of fine linen, and all the tools, pegs, and ropes will be made from bronze. Make special clothing for the priests who will serve me in the sacred tent. Ask skilled workers whom I've gifted with ability to make holy clothes for Aaron so he can serve me as priest. They should make a chest piece, a special vest called the ephod, a robe, a patterned tunic, a turban, and a belt. These holy clothes are for Aaron and his sons, so they can serve me. They must use gold, blue, purple, and red thread, and fine linen. The ephod should be made from golden, blue, purple, and red thread, along with fine linen. It should be carefully woven by someone skilled. It will have 2 shoulder straps that connect the front and back. The decorated waistband on it must be made the same way and be part of the ephod itself. Take 2 onyx stones and engrave the names of the sons of Israel on them. 6 names on one stone and 6 on the other, in the order they were born. A jeweler should engrave them as he would a ring. Mount the stones in gold settings. Attach these stones to the shoulder straps of the ephod. They will be reminders of the 12 tribes of Israel. Aaron will wear them on his shoulders whenever he enters my presence. So I will remember my people. Make twisted chains of pure gold and attach them to the breastplate. Then make 2 gold rings and fasten them to the top corners of the breastplate. Connect the golden chains to these rings. The other ends of the chains should be attached to gold settings on the front of the priest's shoulder straps. Next, make 2 more gold rings and put them on the bottom corners of the breastplate, on the inside edge next to the ephod. Also make 2 gold rings for the lower part of the ephod's shoulder pieces, near where the ephod is tied with its woven belt. Use a blue cord to tie the breastplate to the ephod, connecting the rings so it stays securely in place. Aaron will carry the names of the 12 tribes of Israel close to his heart on the breastplate whenever he enters the holy place. This will always be a reminder before the Lord. Also place the Urim and the Thummim inside the breastplate. They should rest over Aaron's heart as he represents the people of Israel when he stands before God. Make the robe that goes under the ephod completely blue. It should have a hole in the center for the head with a strong woven collar to prevent it from tearing. Around the bottom edge of the robe, sew pomegranates made of blue, purple, and red thread with gold bells in between. One bell, one pomegranate, all the way around. Aaron must wear this robe while serving. The sound of the bells will be heard when he enters and leaves the holy place, so that he won't die. Create a gold plate and engrave on it, "Holy to the Lord." Tie it with a blue cord to the front of Aaron's turban. This will be on his forehead, and it will carry the guilt for anything unholy in the offerings the people bring. It must always be on his forehead, so the offerings will be accepted by the Lord. Make a checkered tunic from fine linen, a linen turban, and an embroidered sash. For Aaron's sons, make tunics, sashes, and headbands to show honor and beauty. Dress Aaron and his sons in these clothes. Anoint them with oil. Set them apart and make them holy so they can serve as priests. Make linen undergarments for them to cover from the waist to the thighs. They must wear them whenever they enter the sacred tent or approach the altar to serve. If they don't, they will be guilty and die. This rule must be followed forever by Aaron and his descendants. Here's what you must do to make Aaron and his sons ready to serve me as priests. Take 1 young bull and 2 perfect rams. Also make bread without yeast, loaves, cakes mixed with oil, and thin wafers. Use fine wheat flour for all of them and place them in one basket. Bring them with the bull and the 2 rams. Then bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the sacred tent and wash them with water. Dress Aaron in the tunic, robe, ephod, and breastplate. Tie the woven belt around him. After that, kill one of the rams. Take some of its blood and touch Aaron's right ear, the right ear of his sons, the thumbs of their right hands, and the big toes of their right feet. Sprinkle the rest of the blood around the altar. Take the fat from the ram, including the fat tail, the fat over the inner organs, the fat covering the kidneys, the part from the liver, and the right thigh, since this is for the ordination ceremony. Also take 1 loaf of bread, 1 oiled cake, and 1 wafer from the basket. Place all these things into the hands of Aaron and his sons, and have them lift the items as a wave offering to the Lord. Then take them back and burn them on the altar as a special gift to God. The smell will be pleasing to him. Boil the rest of the ram's meat in a holy place. Aaron and his sons must eat this meat along with the bread from the basket at the entrance of the sacred tent. Only they may eat it because it was used to make them holy. If any meat or bread is left until morning, it must be burned. It cannot be eaten because it is sacred. Repeat this entire process for 7 days to complete their ordination. Each day, offer a bull as a sin offering to cleanse the altar. Pour oil on it and make it holy. After 7 days, the altar will be very holy, and anything that touches it will become holy. Each day, offer 2 one-year-old lambs on the altar, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. With the morning lamb, offer about 2 quarts of fine flour mixed with a quart of oil and a quart of wine as a drink offering. In the evening, offer the other lamb with the same grain and drink offerings. These are to be burned for a sweet smell, as an offering to the Lord. Whenever you count the people of Israel, each person must give a payment to the Lord to avoid a plague. Everyone counted must give half a shekel, based on the holy standard weight, which is 20 gerahs. This offering is for the Lord. Everyone 20 years and older must give this offering. The rich must not give more and the poor must not give less. This money will be used to support the sacred tent. It will serve as a reminder before the Lord that the people gave something to be made right with him. The Lord said to Moses, "Make a large bronze basin with a bronze stand for washing. Put it between the sacred tent and the altar and fill it with water. Aaron and his sons must wash their hands and feet from it so they will not die. This is a rule that must be followed forever by them and their descendants." God told Moses, "Gather the best spices for yourself, 500 shekels of flowing myrrh, 250 shekels of sweet cinnamon, 250 shekels of sweet-smelling cane, and 500 shekels of cassia, all weighed by the standard used at the sacred tent. Add a measure of olive oil. Mix these ingredients carefully like a skilled perfume maker would. This will be holy anointing oil that must be used for all generations. God also said, use this oil to set apart things and make them holy. Everything the oil touches will become holy. Anoint Aaron and his sons with it to prepare them as priests to serve me. Tell the people of Israel that this oil is holy and it will always be holy to me. Then God said to Moses, take equal amounts of sweet spices, stacte, onycha, galbanum, and mix them with pure frankincense. Make them into incense, using the skills of a perfume maker. It must be salted, pure, and holy. Crush some of it into fine powder and place it in front of the sacred chest in the tent where I meet with you. This incense is most holy. Don't use this formula to make your own perfume. It is only for me. Anyone who makes it for personal use will no longer be part of my people. God continued speaking to Moses. I have chosen Bezalel, son of Uri and grandson of Hur, from the tribe of Judah. I have filled him with my spirit, giving him wisdom, understanding, and skill in all kinds of craftsmanship, working with gold, silver, and bronze, cutting and setting stones, carving wood, and creating all kinds of designs. I have also chosen Oholiab, son of Ahisamach, from the tribe of Dan to help him. I have given wisdom to everyone with skill so they can make everything I told you about: the sacred tent, the chest of the covenant, the cover on the chest, and all the furniture inside, along with the table, its tools, the pure lampstand and its tools, and the incense altar. God also told Moses, tell the Israelites to keep my Sabbaths. This day of rest is a sign between me and you for all generations. It shows that I, the Lord, make you holy. Anyone who breaks the Sabbath must be put to death. Anyone who works on that day must be removed from the community. You can work for 6 days, but the 7th day is a sacred rest day dedicated to me. Anyone who works on it must be put to death. The Israelites must observe this Sabbath rest every week forever. It's a lasting agreement. It's a sign between me and the Israelites forever. In 6 days I made heaven and earth, but on the 7th day I rested and was refreshed. When the people saw that Moses hadn't come down from the mountain for a long time, they went to Aaron and said, make us gods who can lead us. We don't know what happened to Moses who brought us out of Egypt. So Aaron said, take off the gold earrings from your wives, sons, and daughters and bring them to me. Everyone took off their earrings and brought them to him. Aaron melted the gold, shaped it with a tool, and made a golden calf. Then the people said, this is our God Israel, the one who brought us out of Egypt. When Aaron saw this, he built an altar in front of the calf. He announced, tomorrow we will have a festival to the Lord. The next day, the people got up early, offered sacrifices, ate and drank, and then started celebrating wildly. God said to Moses, go down the mountain. Your people, the ones you brought out of Egypt, have done something terrible. They've already turned away from my commands. They made a golden calf, worshipped it, offered sacrifices to it, and said, this is your God, Israel, who brought you out of Egypt. I see that these people are stubborn. Let me be, so my anger can destroy them. Then I'll make a great nation out of you. God was also furious with Aaron and wanted to destroy him, but Moses prayed for him. Moses begged God, Lord, why are you so angry with the people you brought out of Egypt with your great power? Why let the Egyptians say, God brought them out just to kill them in the mountains and wipe them out? Please calm down, don't destroy your people. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You promised them that their descendants would be as many as the stars, and that you'd give them this land forever. So God changed his mind and didn't bring the disaster he had planned. Moses went down the mountain carrying the 2 stone tablets. They were written on both sides by the hand of God himself. When Joshua heard the people shouting, he said, it sounds like war in the camp. But Moses replied, it's not the sound of victory or defeat. It's the sound of singing. When Moses got close and saw the calf and the dancing, he became furious. He threw the tablets down and smashed them at the foot of the mountain. Moses saw the people had gone wild because Aaron had let them lose control, making them look foolish to their enemies. Moses stood at the entrance of the camp and shouted, anyone who is on the Lord's side, come to me. All the Levites came to him. Then he told them, "This is what the Lord says. Each of you must strap on your sword. Go through the camp from one end to the other and kill even your brothers, friends, and neighbors." The Levites obeyed, and about 3,000 people died that day. Moses said, "You have dedicated yourselves to the Lord today, even though it meant going against your own families. Because of this, he will bless you." The next day, Moses said to the people, "You've committed a terrible sin. I will go up to the Lord and try to make things right for you." Moses returned to the Lord and said, "The people have sinned greatly by making gods out of gold. Please forgive them. But if you won't, then remove my name from the book you've written." God replied, "I will remove from my book only those who sin against me. Now go, lead the people to the place I told you about. My angel will go ahead of you. But when the time comes to punish, I will deal with them for their sin." Moses said to God, "You've told me to lead these people, but you haven't said who you'll send with me. Still, you've said you know me by name and that I've found favor with you. So if that's true, show me your ways so I can continue to know you and keep finding favor. Remember, these people are yours." God replied, "I will go with you and give you rest." Then Moses said, "If you're not going with us, don't send us from this place. How will anyone know you're pleased with me and your people unless you go with us? Your presence is what makes us different from all the other people on earth." "I will do what you've asked," the Lord said to Moses. "You've earned my favor, and I know you personally." Then Moses said, "Please show me your glory." God answered, "I will let all my goodness pass in front of you, and I will call out my name, the Lord, as I do. I will be kind to whoever I choose, and I will show mercy to whoever I want. But you cannot see my face. No one can see me and live." Then the Lord said, "There's a place near me where you can stand on a rock. When my glory passes by, I'll put you in a crack in the rock and cover you with my hand until I pass. Then I'll move my hand and you can see my back, but not my face." God told Moses, "Cut 2 stone tablets like the first ones, and I will write the same words on them that were on the tablets you broke. Be ready in the morning and come up Mount Sinai. Meet me there at the top. No one else may come with you. No one is to be seen anywhere on the mountain. Even animals should stay away from it." God said, "I am making a promise with you. I will do amazing things in front of your people, things no one has ever seen before. Everyone around you will witness the incredible things I will do through you." He continued, "Follow what I'm commanding you today. I will drive out the Amorites, Canaanites, Hittites, Girgashites, Perizzites, Hivites, and Jebusites from your path. Be careful not to make agreements with the people in the land where you're going, or they'll become a trap for you. Destroy their altars, break their sacred stones, and cut down their idols. Don't worship any other gods. I, the Lord, whose name is jealous, will not share your loyalty with anyone else. Don't make agreements with the people there, or you'll be led to worship their gods. If you marry their daughters, they'll lead your sons to follow other gods too. Do not make metal idols for yourselves. Celebrate the festival of unleavened bread. For 7 days, eat bread without yeast, just as I told you. Do this at the set time, in the month of Abib, because that's when you left Egypt. Every firstborn male belongs to me, both your sons and your animals. If you have a firstborn donkey, trade it for a lamb. If you don't, break its neck. You must also buy back the lives of your firstborn sons. And no one should come to me without bringing something. Work for 6 days, but rest on the 7th. Even during planting and harvest season, take a break. Celebrate the Festival of Weeks when you gather the first part of the wheat harvest. Later, celebrate the Festival of Ingathering at the end of the year. 3 times a year, all your men must come before me, the Lord, the God of Israel. I will drive out other nations and make your borders larger. No one will try to take your land when you come before me during these times." The Lord told Moses, "Write down everything I've said, because this is the agreement I'm making with you and with Israel. Moses stayed there with the Lord for 40 days and nights. He didn't eat or drink during that time. He wrote the words of the agreement, the 10 Commandments, on the tablets. Moses gathered all the people of Israel and said, "These are the commands the Lord has given for you to follow." Each curtain was 28 cubits long and 4 cubits wide, and all the curtains were the same size. He joined 5 curtains together to make one set, and the other 5 were joined to make another set. Each wooden frame was 10 cubits high and 1.5 cubits wide. Every frame had 2 pegs that fit together, and he made all the frames the same way. He made 20 frames for the south side of the tent and 40 silver bases, 2 bases for each frame. He covered the frames with gold, made gold rings to hold the crossbars, and covered the bars with gold too. He made the inside curtain from blue, purple, and red thread and fine linen. It was decorated with images of angels made by a skilled worker. He made 4 acacia wood posts for it, covered them with gold, and added gold hooks. He also made 4 silver bases for the posts. The angels on the cover of the ark spread their wings over the top, facing each other. Their faces looked toward the cover. He made the table from acacia wood, 2 cubits long, 1 cubit wide, and 1.5 cubits high. He covered it with pure gold and made a gold trim around the edges. He added a border about a hand's width wide and decorated that with gold too. He made 4 gold rings for the table and attached them to the 4 corners near the legs so they could hold the carrying poles. The poles were made of acacia wood and covered with gold. He also made all the gold dishes, spoons, bowls, and pitchers used for offerings. The curtain for the entrance to the courtyard was made by an expert weaver. It was blue, purple, and red, and made of fine linen. It was 20 cubits long and 5 cubits high, matching the rest of the courtyard walls. It had 4 bronze posts and bronze bases. The hooks and tops of the posts were silver, and silver bands connected them. All the tent pegs used for the sacred tent in the courtyard were made of bronze. These are the records of everything made for the sacred tent, the place where God's agreement with his people was kept. Moses oversaw the work, and Ithamar, the son of Aaron the priest, helped with the duties of the Levites. Bezalel, son of Uri and grandson of Hur from the tribe of Judah, made everything exactly as the Lord had commanded Moses. They hammered gold into thin sheets and cut it into threads to weave into the blue, purple, and red fabric, along with fine linen. Skilled workers made shoulder pieces for the priest's robe, connecting them at both ends. The belt was made from the same materials, gold, blue, purple, and red threads, and fine linen, just as the Lord instructed Moses. They prepared onyx stones, each set in gold and engraved with the names of the tribes of Israel, like a seal. These stones were placed on the shoulder pieces of the robe to remind God of his people as he had told Moses. They also made a special chest piece with the same fine materials as the robe. It was square and folded in half to form a pouch. It had 4 rows of stones. The first row held ruby, topaz, and garnet. The second row had emerald, sapphire, and diamond. The third row included jacinth, agate, and amethyst. The fourth had beryl, onyx, and jasper. All the stones were set in gold and engraved with the names of the 12 tribes of Israel. They made twisted chains of pure gold and attached them to the chest piece with gold rings. The other ends of the chains were fastened to the shoulder pieces of the robe. More gold rings were placed on the chest piece and the robe so that it could be tied securely with a blue cord and wouldn't come loose. This was done exactly as God had instructed. They also made the Urim and Thummim, tools used for seeking God's guidance. The robe for the priest was made from woven blue fabric. It had an opening in the center, like a coat of armor, with a sewn edge to keep it from tearing. Around the bottom edge, they attached decorations shaped like pomegranates made from blue, purple, and red thread and fine linen. God told Moses, "Set up the courtyard around the sacred tent and hang the curtain at its entrance. Take the anointing oil and use it to anoint the tent and everything in it, making all of it holy. Anoint the altar where burnt offerings are made, and all its tools, so it becomes especially holy. Anoint the large basin and its stand, and make them holy too. Bring Aaron and his sons to the entrance of the tent, and wash them with water. Dress Aaron in the holy clothes. Anoint him, and make him holy so he can serve me as a priest. Bring his sons. Dress them in robes, and anoint them too. just like their father, so they can also serve as priests. This anointing will mark them and their future descendants as my priests forever. Moses did everything exactly as the Lord had told him. On the first day of the first month in the second year after the people left Egypt, the sacred tent was set up. Moses placed the bases, set up the frames, attached the crossbars, and raised the posts. He spread the tent covering over the top just as the Lord had said. Then, he put the stone tablets into the ark, placed the carrying poles on it, and covered it with the mercy seat. He brought the ark into the sacred tent, hung the curtain, and separated the ark from the rest of the area as God instructed. He set the special table on the north side of the tent, outside the curtain, and placed the bread on it, as the Lord had said. He also placed the lampstand on the south side across from the table and lit the lamps in God's presence. Then he set up the golden incense altar in front of the curtain and burned sweet-smelling incense on it, just as the Lord had told him.